Hey guys, welcome to episode 23 of Operation PlayStation. I'm one of your hosts, Dash, along with my co-host, Mr. Paul James. What is going on, Padge?
It's all about next gen.
Oh, yes it is.
Like as in PS6. Like when are we going to start talking about that?
Oh, right. That won't be for at least another 6 years or so.
Yeah, okay. I can wait.
Guys, yeah, obviously this is going to be a jam-packed episode full of PlayStation 5 stuff. We're really excited to talk about it. Yeah, we can't believe it's here already. It's so cool to actually be sitting down and talking about PlayStation 5 in our hands. So good, guys.
Can we do like the lick test, for this sort of stuff compared to the Switch games? You didn't not do that there.
What the hell is going on? Why is everybody licking their units and...
Yeah, I don't know. I've not done any of that sort of shit ever. I'm definitely not going to do it with a Switch cartridge, but yeah, I don't get it.
Guys, if you didn't know, this is Operation PlayStation-Gamer.com's dedicated PlayStation podcast where we dive deep and dirty and discover what the latest and greatest PlayStation have to offer, including next-gen gaming. Yeah!
Current gen.
And now it's current gen. Now it's current gen. Next gen for PlayStation 6.
You're living in the future. You're living in the past, mate.
We're also powered by Audio Technica. If you like what you hear today, make sure that you follow us over on SoundCloud, iTunes, and Spotify. Give us those cheeky 5-star ratings. They surely help us out. And also catch the VOD over on dashgamer.com and on YouTube. Subscribe, hit that bell, give us a like, leave us a comment. Surely helps us out. Also, talking about following, my handle there, Dash Gamer. If you want to follow me for the time being, just add an S to the end of it right now because Twitter's got their head up their ass at the moment and have suspended my main account for impersonating myself. What the hell?
Yeah. I mean, I think they just knew that you're a scammer and a hack and a cheat and a liar.
$300 for that. Thank you. Patch, give us your housekeeping, man.
So Dev Diary, as per usual, so the current episode at the moment, we mentioned it last episode, Kitty Callis and Jan Willem Neiman, responsible for the likes of Disc Room, but also Minute from a few years ago. The upcoming guest going live this Thursday, Nok Vu, local talent who's worked on Necrobarista, amongst a few others. She lent her services to Samurai Punk for the American Dream as well, a really cool PSVR game. So that goes live on Thursday, go check that out. And then I've actually done some writing because I told everyone that I was just going to go quiet for a little while and just save my energy and bank my credits with the dear wife until the PS5 came out, at which point I'd hit the ground running. And so I have. The review for Sakuna of Rice and Ruin is up on the Player 2 website.
Such a good game.
One of the best games of the year. ASTRO'S PLAYROOM I've also reviewed. And depending on the time of day that you actually listen back to the podcast, my review of Spider-Man Miles Morales may or may not be live already. Another thing I should also shout out is the Player 2 Marathon that goes on this Saturday starting at 10 a.m. Twitch.tv/Player2AU, where we've got a 24-hour stream. We do it every year. We're raising money for the Terry Campese Foundation. A little thing called an Xbox Series X has been thrown in there as the major prize. And surprise, surprise, that's flushed out quite a few donations already. So we're already well over halfway towards our goal, and we haven't even started the stream yet. But 24 hours, lots of awesome games being played. Matt and the team will be over in Canberra. We're still not allowed out of the state yet, so I'll be jumping in every now and then just remotely. Yeah. But it's going to be a good time. So tune in, twitch.tv/Player2AU on Saturday through Sunday, 10 a.m. till 10 a.m. For some really cool stuff. Donations, anything $5 or above, you're into the draw to win one of hundreds of games. So, I mean, I don't want to say definitively because I don't want this to come back and bite myself or Matt on the ass. But there's a very, very good chance that if you donate, you'll come away with at least a game. You'll be in the running for the Xbox Series X. I think that's $20 or more. Gets you into the running there. But there's dozens and dozens of games that have been contributed by the likes of Ubisoft and Devolver and Cat at Turn Left. And thank you to everyone who's participated and helped out provide games, donate already. It's a really great cause, and at this point, we're doing better than we have any other year going into it. And That's awesome. Where people are kind of struggling for money at the moment, so it's pretty awesome.
Yeah, fantastic. So make sure that you head over to twitch.tv/play2netau, was it?
Just Player2AU.
Player2AU, there you go. For this Saturday at 10 a.m. For their Terry Campese Foundation Charity Marathon. That's going to be an awesome one. I'll definitely be tuning in. For dashgamer.com, reviews. We've got our Spider-Man Miles Morales review now live, thanks to PlayStation Australia. Assassin's Creed Valhalla review, thanks to Ubisoft Australia. Devil May Cry 5 Special Edition, thanks to Capcom Australia. Sakuna Rise and Ruin, thanks to Turn Left.
Sorry, should also shout out Kat. Yeah, she provided us with Sakuna as well. So
there you go. Yeah,
thank you, Kat.
Yakuza Like a Dragon review, thanks to 5 Star Games and Xbox Australia. Also thanks to Xbox Australia for Assassin's Creed as well as Ubisoft. And I know we're a PlayStation podcast, but we also had to have a look at the competition. An Xbox Series X console first impressions, thanks to Xbox Australia who kindly provided the console. I talk more about that with Ryan Betson over on the Dash Gamer Podcast, episode 20, so make sure you guys check out that. We had a long talk this week about both the Xbox and the PS5. Very excited to talk about it today as well with Padge. And next week coming up, we'll have reviews on both Demon's Souls and Sackboy, thanks to PlayStation Australia for those ones as well. Padge, let's not waste any more time. We've got some news to talk about, so let's dive into the news. The first bit of news comes by way of Sammy Barker over at Push Square tonight, Padge. Some PS5 players are mistakenly playing the PS4 version of cross-gen games. That was bound to happen anyway, so like it was going to get confusing. But anyway.
Yes and no. But we'll talk about it in detail now.
Yeah. As we reported over the weekend, Sony needs to make it clearer when you're playing PlayStation 5 or PlayStation 4 games. There have been an astounding number of reports this weekend from people who thought they were enjoying Call of Duty Black Ops Cold War on the company's next-gen console, only to learn they're actually in backwards compatibility mode. Here's the problem. It's possible to toggle between versions by pushing the options button on the game icon, but the console actually defaults to the PS4 in cross-gen cases. In fact, even if you specifically download the PS5 version, you'll probably end up with both copies installed, wasting precious bandwidth and storage space. While you will see both editions in your game library, often only one version will show on the console's main menu, which is usually the PS4. And you may not even notice the text stipulating that as a result, you may need to end up playing the current gen game. You may end up playing the current gen game without even realizing it, which is pretty stupid. Oh. Okay. So that's news to me. Go on, Padge.
Oh, you haven't dealt with any of this yet?
No. So I haven't really done the upgrade to any games yet. I was about to do that on Watch Dogs tonight because they just released the next gen version. Thanks to Ubisoft, by the way, and we'll be looking into the next gen version next week on the website. But yeah, I haven't actually seen anything. You know, Mortal Kombat's also expected sometime. I think Friday or even, tomorrow.
Imminently. Yeah, something like that.
So these are games that I'm looking forward to upgrading, but I haven't actually experienced it yet because I didn't actually go for COD. I feel like
COD's not the only one. Obviously, like Assassin's Creed Valhalla is one of those games. NBA 2K is one of those games. Basically, any Spider-Man Miles Morales is one of those games.
Yep.
Anything that's got that cross-gen and it's a free cross-gen jump, you're gonna hit that obstacle. So I, fortunately enough, just happened to notice that it said PS4. So as Sammy mentions in the article there, there's just a tiny little bit of text that just says PS4 or PS5 or nothing if it's a PS5. If it's a native PS5 game, it just doesn't say anything.
Mm-hmm.
So like what you'd expect on Demon's Souls or something like that. There's just nothing there. That's exactly what occurs if you're putting in or you're booting up a PS5 version of it. So you do actually, like, it was only that I just by sheer coincidence noticed that, and I think it was when I was installing Valhalla. So I haven't actually played Valhalla yet. I just was loading up my console and getting everything ready to go and making sure that I had all my ducks in a row so I could just go bang, 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 bang and just start piling through the games.
Yeah. And
I noticed it said PS4 and I'm like, what the fuck's going on here? And just started clicking around. I saw, okay, there's an options thing. What do we do here? Oh, which version? Okay. Well, I want the PS5 version, thanks. So I just flicked over that and we're good. And then I noticed, like, I thought, okay, I'll check to see what I can do with NBA 2K, because in the case of Valhalla, this was a disc-based version, so it could just as easily boot up the PS4 version, because that's literally the disc that would be in the drive.
Yeah.
In the case of NBA 2K, which was provided to me by 2K, a month or two ago now? Feels like, I don't know, 2020, flat circles, all that sort of thing. But like, I booted up 2K and thought, well, I know there's a lot of hype about how this thing's going to look on the next-gen consoles, and so I thought I'll boot that up and I'll start downloading it. And of course, it started downloading 2 different versions of the game. Oh. So if you didn't know any different, if you didn't recognize any different, you would have had 2 versions of NBA 2K21, for example, or COD, or Valhalla or Spider-Man. Depends on obviously whether you're getting the game digitally or physically or not. They're just guzzling up your SSD space. So yeah, I happened to notice that, okay, you're downloading 2 versions of 2K, and I just looked at the file size and realized, okay, the bigger one's the one I need to axe here. Sorry, the smaller one's the one I need to axe here. And so there we go. Problem solved, and I'll boot up 2K at some point and have a bit of a look and just see those beads of sweat running down Zion Williams' face or whatever. But sure, technical prowess.
So I forgot that
it's just dumb.
This was one of the titles that I actually had on not PS4. I actually had on my Xbox One. And
which game? Sorry,
2K, 2K21.
Oh yeah, right.
So when 2K reached out to me to review 2K21 for PS5, which by the way it will be on Friday, my full review on that. I was like, okay, cool. Obviously, because it's just going to be straight up the title that I'm redeeming on the store, there won't be any issues of upgrades or anything like that, so I'm safe there. But I had asked people about whether or not, because this was also touted as being built for specifically next gen, and
yeah, it's just about where it defaults to.
Yeah.
And Xbox just like the smart delivery thing. We all kind of took the piss out of it and just like, oh, it's a glorified version of crossplay.
It's better,
but it's better. It's literally smarter.
Yep,
that's what it is. It is just a smarter system where it goes, you've got a PS5, this version, Xbox. You've got a Series X. This game has a Series X version available. Boom, that's what you've got.
Yeah.
You own it on Xbox One, so here you go. You've just now land yourself the Series X version, and we're not going to waste your time and download both, or make you choose. Of course, you want the better one.
Yeah,
off you go.
Yeah, no, it really is. Yeah.
So it's bafflingly bad what they're doing.
It really is. Page, the next story comes by way of ONS Good over at Polygon, of all places. Polygon, all right.
Owen is good.
Yeah, Owen is pretty good, actually. Resident Evil Village launch date leaked.
No, it's a play on words. Owen S good. I just squeezed an I in there.
Owen is good. I know what you were doing. Resident Evil launch date leaked.
Cell 5.
CAPCOM ransomware attack. Jesus Christ, Fadge.
Big spike in the audio.
Thanks for that. That's going to be great to edit. Capcom's plans for new games, including Resident Evil Village launch, plus the source code of some games and other corporate financial secrets, were leaked overnight Sunday by a ransomware attack that began on November 2nd. The company confirmed the attack, but not the leaked details, in a new release on Monday morning, warning that personal information may of as many as 350,000 persons have been compromised. This potentially includes information for both customers, shareholders, and employees. A copy of the ransom note Capcom received was posted to Reset Era. A group called Ragnar Locker claimed responsibility. The BBC reported that Ragnar Locker's dark web page, where the trove of information was dumped, indicated that Capcom had refused to pay the ransom. Users on Reset Era also noted that some of the information appears to come from 2018, so Capcom's plans for the games mentioned may have changed since then. But according to ransomed leaks, Resident Evil Village is planned for an April 2021 launch. Monster Hunter Stories 2 is also slated for June 2021 on Nintendo Switch, and it will launch on PC as well. There's also a Battle Royale type multiplayer Resident Evil on the way, according to the leaked information. An Ace Attorney collection for PlayStation 4 and Nintendo Switch is said to be in the works, and Monster Hunter Rise will follow its March 2021 release on Switch and October 2021 launch on PC. The most intriguing, the hackers exposed the payments made to Capcom for putting its games on certain platforms. Internal documents said Google Stadia paid Capcom $10 million for Resident Evil 7 and Resident Evil 8, and Sony paid $5 million for Capcom to make Resident Evil 7 for PlayStation VR, plus a timed exclusive on the game's DLC.
Small price to play for those.
Yeah. Well, that's what I was going to say.
10 million and 5 million in the grand scheme of things, that's not a hell of a lot of money.
No.
When we're talking about games that cost hundreds of millions of dollars.
That was very surprising to read, especially considering that they charged Google double PlayStation, and considering.
I mean, that's fair and reasonable because you're basically just bleeding sales by offering anything exclusive to them.
Yeah, no, basically. So
come and play it on Stadia, all 5 people.
Look, and it's true, you're right. They have a right to kind of demand more money from Google, especially seeing as the platform is kind of not doing so well, if I put it in anyway.
Yeah, I mean, that's the nature of the beast, is that, developer/publisher takes a slice of every sale, and if they're not getting many sales because of the platform they're on, well, they're going to want to find another way to subsidize the cost. So that makes sense.
I'm not usually a big fan of reporting news from dark web websites and everything, but because it's gaming and it's news and we are a gaming news show, we have to talk about it. Because essentially,
I'm not. The news, the compromised details aren't fantastic, and
no, that's the thing.
There's no credit. All the reporting says there's no credit card details in there, but there's interesting notes there about these various games. It's actually a bit of a surprise to me that we're going to see Monster Hunter, for example, both titles coming to PC, but not the other consoles.
The one omission, the one omission from that list that is going to drive our friend Kat insane in her DMs is no Dino Crisis.
Yeah,
no Dino Crisis.
No, nothing. So
that is one thing. Where the fuck is Dino Crisis? Where's Dino Crisis? That would have been the takeaway from that would have been the takeaway from this. Even as the hackers, they're probably scrolling through where the fuck is Dino Crisis?
Yeah, at least we can put that to bed for a little while.
Yeah,
but it's not great news to see that there's a Resident Evil multiplayer game on the way, because that's been going well for them lately.
Yeah, I don't think that they should.
They need to stick to what's working at the moment. And that is the core, a core style Resident Evil title.
Yeah,
and Monster Hunter. Just squeeze every drop out of them for a little while you regain some stock in some other areas, and then experiment and explore a little bit.
Well, the good thing that's obviously come out of this leak is now we know a time frame around where they're planning Resident Evil Village to come out, which was kind of expected anyway. April 2021 seems to be
about right.
Is it? Yeah, it seems to be the hotspot right now for a lot of titles that are going to basically hit that mark. Last episode, I believe you mentioned Ratchet and Clank around about March, April. I said February. Yep. I believe spreading it out now and seeing that there is potential for Ratchet and Clank to hit Feb, March, and then we could see Resi at April. But
what happens with Ratchet kind of dictates / is dictated to by Gran Turismo as well.
Yeah, that too. And then we're already being told that in Q2 we're probably going to be seeing. The second half of the year we're going to be seeing Horizon. We're probably not going to see Horizon,
but also in the first half is Returnal as well.
Oh yeah,
Returnal. It's another PS5 exclusive. Yeah.
So pretty much, yeah. This does outline a proper release time frame anyway, so that's going to be interesting. Padge, moving on to the next one. This one comes by way of Eric Kane over at Forbes, who says, Demon Souls PS5 remake, what's on the other side of this mission? Oh, no, not this one. The mysterious door. Oh man, you said it perfectly on Twitter, by the way, when you mentioned Lance, and you said I'll give him 24 hours.
And he hasn't done it yet,
no,
to the best of my knowledge, but Give him time.
So far, and I'll mention that I just started playing this last night because I finished Miles Morales and I wrote the review and I started playing this last night, and I got to say that this is a fantastic remake. So good. Anyway, I'll get into that more later on. So far, the best thing about my PlayStation 5 is getting to play Demon's Souls all over again. This time in stunning 4K, that's truly a sight to behold. I still think the PS3 version of the game looks good, but Bluepoint's remake is jaw-dropping. But still, it contains new mysteries, or at least one new mystery, though I wouldn't be surprised if players find more in the coming days and weeks. Players have found an illusionary wall in the Boltarian, I don't even know how to say this.
Yeah, Boltarian.
Boltarian Palace, yeah. Okay. Specifically, they found an illusionary wall in World 1-3. The illusionary wall is located in one of the level's alleys. At first blush, it appears to be a dead end, and players of the original game might simply assume it is. But it's not. Striking the wall reveals a short staircase at the top of which is a door. Any attempts to open a door greeted with a message informing them that the door is locked. Players have been attempting to unlock the door ever since, but so far, at least, nobody has managed to open it. Yeah, and there it is there. Like, I'm intrigued.
Yeah, you can see in the video, the Twitter video there.
Yeah.
People are getting clever, trying to, especially those who don't have the Lance McDonald style, modding and modding skills. A few people have been jumping in and using the photo mode. We'll jump into photo mode and then we'll pan around and see what's on the other side, and there's apparently something glowing just tantalizingly on the other side of this door that you can't get to. Some people are starting to get desperate with the various different tricks, so they're collecting 79 coins and then bring them over, because that was the thing when Bluepoint did Shadow of the Colossus most recently. You needed 79 coins for a mysterious door, and that's what got you through. Which I didn't even know that there were coins in that game, but there are, and you can collect them. And yeah, it's very well done.
It's safe to
Team
assume
Eco back
that,
in the day.
Yeah, it's safe to assume that's what Bluepoint are doing here. The exact same strategy.
Something like that.
And I guess, like, in terms of like collectibles and everything else, there's going to be a magic number that'll hit that and open up that door again. That was something that obviously a lot of people didn't pick up on, because with Shadow of the Colossus, it was a very niche. I got to say, it was very... The sales were minimal in that title. Like, there was only a handful of people that actually picked up that remake. So, really, I think this might be a calling card into like what Bluepoint are probably going to continue doing with titles that they remake. The door. In the case of Shadow of the Colossus, the door was actually there. It was just that you couldn't get through it. You couldn't do anything to it. They actually just put something on the other side, and it was a pretty mundane, pathetic thing. But they actually made it into something. I'd imagine by this point that if that door was actually in the original release, that people would absolutely know it by now. Yeah. But yeah, I mean, maybe they just saw that success and that kind of community buzz, and people get together and they start theorizing and speculating, all the stuff that you used to see back in the day over, the Zelda timeline, God forbid. All that sort of community thing where people actually get together and there's a collective putting of their heads together to try and find a solution. That's great to see, and it's awesome that it's happening here, and hopefully they don't find an answer. Well, because that would be such a Souls thing to be like, there's a door here, and you want to know what's on the other side, right? We didn't actually make a way to get to the other side. There isn't actually anything there, but fuck you. Can you imagine if they wait years before they unlock that door and then just patch it in? I really just hope they don't. I just really hope they don't do anything. Like, it's just... Opens up the door, there's just a sack forever locked. Forever locked. Or insta-death. That'd be great. Or opens up the door, there's the platinum trophy of the game. Oh, man. Moving on. Page, the next one comes by way of Connor Sheridan over at Games Radar, who says, Deathloop release date confirmed and the leaks were right. He also says, break this fucking loop in May. Deathloop release date is official, and so are its pre-order bonuses. Bethesda has confirmed that the Deathloop release is set for May 21, 2021, which is the very same date leaked earlier this week in a New Zealand PlayStation Store listing. That's the day it will arrive on both PS5 and PC, despite Bethesda being purchased by Microsoft. It's still honoring the console exclusivity deal it made with Sony for Deathloop. Deathloop was previously scheduled to arrive in time for holiday 2020, putting the total length of the Deathloop delay at roughly 5 to 6 months. Bethesda and developer Arcane Lion put out a brief trailer to celebrate the announcement of the launch date. It's mostly made of gameplay we've already seen, but I can't get enough of that mod style. Okay, so I brought this up with Betson on DGP regarding.
Yep.
Before we get into this is really cool. I like what they're doing and everything, but I want to get into just a little bit of the exclusivity right now.
Oh, okay. So you might beat me to the punch here. So let's go for it. You go first.
No. All right, go. No,
Otherwise
please. Go. No, go. I want to hear what you got to say first, please.
Oh, okay. Media, games people that on the internet in the Reset era or Twitter forums or whatever it happens to be. Mm-hmm. Seriously, do some fucking research. Mm-hmm. The deal that Microsoft and Bethesda signed was, and what was announced was, firstly, an intent to purchase. Yeah, it's going to happen. You wouldn't go public if it wasn't. Mm-hmm. But it's not going to be finalized till next year. Can we stop, please, speculating about the combinations and permutations around this game, as well as, I mean, there's more you can possibly discuss when it comes to Ghostwire, but when it comes to this game, it's PS5 exclusive. That's all it is. There's no, maybe it comes to PC, I can't remember. But
it does, yeah.
There's no tricks or funny business here with Xbox. It's got nothing to do with what the deal was or is or will be. Please, can we just stop? Can we just talk about the game for what it is? Because it's a really cool looking game, and I'm sick about hearing of the exclusivity thing that does not affect this title in any way, shape, or form.
Okay, hold on. Because there is something at the bottom of this trailer right here that I've highlighted. Hold on. Yeah, it says available on PC, which we just read in the article. Not available on other consoles until 1 year after its release date.
Yeah, and so timed exclusivity is one thing, but that relates to the deal that Sony and Bethesda had done in the first place.
Yeah.
Not anything at all related to this Microsoft Bethesda acquisition thing.
Radio.
That's what's giving me the shits, is everyone wants to link those, and they're irrelevant here.
Radio, but to kind of omit or even neglect the fact that this is not coming to Xbox would be an oversight, to be honest, because it is going to come to Xbox after a year. Microsoft have invested in ZeniMax. Microsoft have invested in Bethesda. All Bethesda titles are going to end up on Xbox, whether we like it or not. And here is the real deal of it. Phil Spencer knows he can make money by publishing some of these titles on other platforms, but he doesn't want to do that. He wants to make his shareholders happy. He wants to make those stockholders happy and make sure that all the money is coming through Microsoft's door. Betson said on Dash Gamer podcast this past week that he believes Xbox are heading towards an all-software future. He believes they're going to be publishing titles rather than actually publishing hardware. Manufacturing hardware. Do you think that is the case?
Yeah, I think we're inching our way there. Sorry, guys. I haven't listened to the episode.
No, that's all right.
But I just don't know how long it's going to be before that happens, but they are inching their way there, and it's we're seeing it with things like xCloud and Game Pass and those sort of things, that they're going to be apps on your television at some point.
I don't think so. I cannot see. Well, no. In terms of remotely playing, downloading, streaming games. Eventually it will get to that point. PlayStation have been doing it with PS Now for a while now on their Sony branded TV. Hell, I got a Samsung TV that has PS Now on it. So it's one of those things where, I believe that'll happen, but I don't believe that Xbox will stop manufacturing hardware. Now,
they'd need to see a substantial drop off before they consider doing it. But I think it's a natural. It's
a while away. I mean, when that happens, Sony will stop manufacturing the PlayStation as a hardware. So the way I see it, look, yeah, that might be an overstatement, but yeah, Xbox will probably be the first to fall off the hardware bandwagon, but then PlayStation will follow in suit. But what I'm
eventually,
consoles will be inbuilt into televisions eventually one day.
Yes.
So, but in terms of exclusivity rights and everything else, and it kind of falls into play with what we've just read here. We've got titles like Elder Scrolls 6 that'll make its way onto, PC and
Series X.
The Series X. I don't see Elder Scrolls 6 on PlayStation 5.
I do, but I see 1 year exclusivity so they can flush out. You
think it'll be 1 year on Xbox?
Or whatever it happens to be. Yeah, there'll be a period of time. It'll be a timed exclusivity thing. It's, we see these things, and, to use a more PlayStation-centric example, we see this thing with Horizon coming to the PC, for example, where we've exhausted everything we can from this audience. There's no one else here that's really going to buy it, or, well, we're at the point of diminishing returns.
Yeah.
We're not making enough now at this point. Now we open the floodgates to another community. And I think, we haven't seen any official console sales numbers, but let's just run on some sort of scenario here where PlayStation is ahead in this generation of the Xbox. I think that's quite likely still, just the brand recognition thing, the goodwill from the PS4, just anecdotally what I'm seeing and hearing is that and the buzz. Again, they're going to sell Elder Scrolls 6 to everyone they possibly can on Xbox, whether they directly sell it or Game Pass. And then eventually there'll be okay, now there's 70 million PS5 owners out there that we can now tap on the shoulder. Now, some of them might already have an Xbox. A lot of them won't.
Yeah.
Let's tap into that audience there, and all of a sudden you get this massive second wave. I shouldn't be using the phrase second wave in 2020. It's been a pretty awful year, but you get another massive spike in sales.
Yeah.
And it's just like it prints money for them. And at that point, like you're creating, like it's bubbling over, because now you've got everyone in every different audience. It's all on the same level. So you're going to have friends that might have been playing on Xbox before, and those that had PlayStation and couldn't play. Now they're united over this thing, and the conversation starts. Maybe some of them go back to their like those who are playing on Xbox. They go back to it now because their friends' excitement now that they're playing it on PlayStation is, pricked their interest again, and it just becomes this huge thing. It's what happens every time Skyrim gets re-released on the platform. People go back and play it.
You get re-released on a freaking calculator these days.
Yeah, and so like that's a very good marketing strategy. And there's only specific games that fall into those. There's specific zeitgeists where that occurs. Skyrim was one of them. I have no doubt the next Elder Scrolls will be one of them. Fallout could be one of them. Maybe Doom can be one of them. There's not much else at Bethesda that will do that.
Yeah.
And that's the sort of game that you might see actually coming out simultaneously on both consoles.
Do you think there's going to be an exception due to Bethesda's popularity that those titles will make their way to PlayStation eventually after an exclusivity deal is struck? So, like, even though that Microsoft own them, they're still in. They still have enough in them to negotiate. Hey, look, our titles should be on PC and PlayStation as well. I
don't think there'll be a negotiation. At the end of the day, that all parties now speak to Phil and those who are above Phil as well. It's just a matter of them looking at the analytics on it and go, okay, monetarily, how much money is this going to make us? Is it enough? Like, if we're just going to simply break even based on the Xbox audience, or maybe not even break even because the Xbox audience is smaller, then maybe it makes sense for us to get it out there for both day and date.
So it's funny that you mentioned
something like Elder Scrolls, you probably turn a profit even on one console straight out the gate, and so you don't need to rush it.
So it's funny that you mentioned Horizon as the exclusivity. I sent you a screenshot that of Spider-Man Miles Morales from the PlayStation Store on the PS5 this week that actually had an asterisk next to it. Not available on other consoles for a limited time. Also available on PC. So I don't know whether that was a stuff up or what. But
it has to be a stuff up because it's not coming. It's not coming to other consoles.
It's not going to any other consoles.
Yeah.
But also available on PC. I don't even.
PC is plausible, but the other consoles thing is what makes it a big no-no for me at the moment because that's not going to happen. So yeah,
it's just a weird one. That's a very, very weird one.
And it's Sony and Spider-Man, and we know how how intrinsically linked.
Yeah,
those two
Sony
are.
will not have that happen at all. Padge, the following comes by way of Amari Giles or Amari Giles over at Games Rant, who says Bridge of Spirits refunds.
No, it's Kana.
It's Kana. Oh,
Kana.
so I said it right. Okay, cool. So Kana Bridge of Spirits reaffirms launch window after website error. After an error, the official Twitter account for the game Kana Bridge of Spirits clarifies its launch window for next year. The game Kana Bridge of Spirits is a story-driven action-adventure game developed by Ember Labs and releasing on the PS4 and PS5. Recently, the developer had to reaffirm that Kana's delayed PS5 release is still set for Q1 2021. A tweet by Ember Labs in response to the DualShockers Twitter account corrected an issue on Sony's site that implied that Kana Bridge of Spirits would release in Q4 of 2021. The developer stated that Kana is on track to release in 2021 and cordially thanked people for their support. The game, however, was originally slated for a holiday 2020 release as a major PS5 launch title. However, the game ended up being delayed early next year. Largely because of the difficulties of working from home during the COVID-19 pandemic. The official PlayStation website incorrectly listed the game set for a release in Q4 2021, led to plenty of people speculating that there would be further delays for the game until Ember Labs provided clarification on Twitter. Their response to Dual Sensors, now is what they call them. Dual Shockers, yeah.
Oh, jeez.
That's a good play. They did a really, that's awesome. They responded to Dual Shockers on Twitter saying, "Hello, that is an error and we're working with Sony to correct that message. We are still on track to release Q1 of 2021. Thank you for your support." Since then, the website released the incorrect release date, and that remains to be confirmed. So yeah, cool. Look, I'm really excited about this title. I think if anything, this is going to be one of those titles that really push the envelope in terms of what the PlayStation 5 hardware can do. I believe that this also will play in part a lot of what this controller is capable of doing as well. That is essentially the vibe that I'm getting from it, because it's a very Pixar looking game. It looks fantastic, like one of the best looking games that I've seen in terms of like hyping up. What are your thoughts, Padge?
So I mean, the date, obviously it's a mistake. I think that's just a simple case of financial years being muddled up with calendar years, and that's what's led to this mistake here. The financial year ending at the end of March, the period from January to March being calendar year Q1. So like I think that's all the mistake is there. But yeah, I mean, it's well documented that this is, if it had actually managed to hit launch, this was my most anticipated game for the PS5 coming out the gate. Same. That's how keen I am when it knocked off Spider-Man. And of course Bugsnax. So yeah, look, I mean, I'm really, really keen on this. I just want to get my hands on it already. It was great having Liz Fiacco, who used to work at Naughty Dog, and she's now working on this game. She was on Dev Diary a couple months back. Got to talk about the game in some degree of detail there. It's really, really cool what they're going for, and I'm keen to learn more about it. Yeah, same. It really does give off that Pixar DreamWorks kind of vibe in terms of the way it's presented. The trailer itself is just mesmerizing. It's going to be, honestly, I feel like this has Game of the Year written all over it. It's just that we have not been able to see what it's truly about just yet. Yeah. But when we do, oh man, like I really feel like they're building this up. The anticipation behind this is huge right now, especially for PlayStation fans. But man, like it's just a shame that we had to wait. But it's good to know that it's not too far away. Like we're literally months. Yeah. Like just soon a handful of months. You know, so soon enough. Yeah, definitely. Padge, the next one comes by way of Sammy Barker over at Push Square, who says games journalist and Alana Aussies represent.
Games journalist and Alana Pierce joins Sony Santa Monica. Alana Pierce, an ex-IGN games journalist who most recently worked for Rooster Teeth, has joined Sony Santa Monica as a writer. Yeah. The Australian scribe, who has a massive social media following, including YouTube channel with over 500k subscribers, announced the news on Twitter earlier today. Alana said, "Hi everyone, I'm finally allowed to announce my new job as a video games writer at Sony Santa Monica. who you probably know as the studio. She didn't write it. Probably know as the studio who make God of War. I'm so proud to be part of this incredible team. And she has a picture of herself wearing a Sony Santa Monica t-shirt. She said that. So she basically says that she's so proud of it. So that's pretty much the story. So as somebody who can actually attest and speak, who's actually worked with ALANAH in the past, I can say that she's a consummate professional. She's awesome, and she's very passionate about her job in terms of like just creative writing. So it's going to be good to see her actually be a part of the industry. I'm glad. I'm always happy to see somebody that is on our side of the fence kind of cross over and escape the entertainment side of the business, and also kind of like the journalistic side of the business. I feel like this is what I kind of grasped from her transition from IGN to Rooster Teeth. I really felt like her time at Rooster Teeth was very, it was muddled in the waters there, because she really wasn't fit for that brand. She wasn't like a comedy actor or anything like that. She was really passionate about the games industry, and it showed when she was hosting the Xcast over at Kind of Funny that she was really like, she even said it on there that she missed talking about video games and being part of the industry. So it's good to see now, not only does she get to be part of the industry again, she actually gets to be hands-on in the industry. And it's great to see an Aussie get represented, part of Sony Santa Monica, and especially knowing that she might be potentially working on the God of War 2 team. So
that's pretty awesome. I mean, switching on biased fanboy PlayStation hat, she was an Xbox girl, and now we've got her. No, it's fantastic for ALANAH, and you know, obviously at the start there, just a little bit of Aussies representing, a little bit of pride. Like it's fantastic that she's doing such a good job on basically in every platform she goes to. She just makes it better. So it'll be great for the Santa Monica team. It's a bit of a I can't imagine what it's like for her at the moment. She's a part of the team. She's proudly wearing the shirt, as we see in the photo. And she can't hang out with any of them. Like she just throws shade at Corey Barlog on Twitter, as we all should. But
come on, Padge. Ask him, Padge.
I did. he even retweeted me recently.
What?
My hang on.
I didn't know that. You didn't tell me that.
My B is for boy book.
And he retweeted you for that?
Up. He retweeted me, and his thousands of followers just started liking everything. So I was like, okay, well,
that's
Corey,
how
I'm
you
not gonna
follow up, though, Padge. That's how
I did. I said I don't want to be that guy, and then
nothing.
Because it was just lost in the hundreds of likes that were coming in for the post.
So Corey, listeners out there, please help Padge get Corey Barlog on Dev Diary.
Please. Like let's start a thing now.
Hashtag Barlog
not GoFundMe, not GoFundMe. What am I looking for? Change.org.
Oh,
that'll do.
No,
because that people throw that one around left, right, and centre. So
we don't need any of that here.
And it's a simple one: change Corey Barlog's clock to something more appropriate for Australia, and then get him on the show.
Like what you're hearing today? Be sure to follow all Dash Gamer podcasts on SoundCloud, Apple Podcasts, and Spotify by simply typing dashgamer.com into the search bar of your favourite podcast provider. And don't forget to check out our gaming, anime, and pop culture related news on dashgamer.com. Now back to the show.
Guys, and badge of following comes from Press Start, but it's Camilla Wolf from Press Start. The Neo collection is coming to PS5 with 4K and 120 frames per second visuals. Earlier today, Tom Lee, the creative director of Team Ninja, took to the official PlayStation blog to announce that Sony will be releasing the Neo collection for PlayStation 5 to celebrate the anniversary of 2017's action RPG Neo. On February 5th, 2021, the following titles will be simultaneously released to celebrate the 4-year milestone. Neo 2, the complete edition available on PlayStation 4. Neo 2 Remastered, the complete edition available on PlayStation 5. Neo Remastered, the complete edition available on PlayStation 5. And the Neo collection available on PlayStation 5. All of the titles available on PlayStation 5 will boast a 4K resolution for crystal clear visuals up to 120 frames per second gameplay, with monitors, TVs that support it, as well as the ability to transfer your save data from PS4 versions of Neo and Neo 2, so you can pick up your journey right where you left off. In addition, players that already own Neo, the Complete Edition, can upgrade to PlayStation 5 Edition at no additional cost. To obtain your upgrade, you will need to insert your PS4 game disc into your PS5 console with Ultra HD Blu-ray disc drive. Navigate to the Game Hub and select Upgrade Offer to download the corresponding digital PS5 remastered version of the game, which you can then play while your PS4 disc is in the drive. Patch, this is awesome. Like, I really like Neo is awesome. Like, I love Neo. It's great to see them bringing it over, but I don't know how well it'll sell on PlayStation 5. First of all, I think this is going to be like a really niche re-release or really niche remaster for the unit.
It's coming right off the back of an exclusive Souls game.
Yeah, that's the other issue.
Like, don't get me wrong, Neo is a growing IP and it's fantastic, and it's starting to kind of stand on its own 2 feet outside of the Souls shadow. But it is still a Souls game.
Yeah.
It is still only a couple short months after Demon's Souls came out, and it is just ultimately a remaster of a game that came out 12 months ago.
Yep.
So there's a few things working against it in that respect. I wish it nothing but the best. I do want this franchise to really kick off. It's, Souls games aren't really my cup of tea, but
it's because you suck at
it'd
them,
be
right?
good to see more. Yeah, mostly. But they're like, just that loop doesn't really speak to me all that much anyway.
Yeah.
It'd just be good to see more competition, more diversity in that subgenre. So
yeah,
I'm all for it. Like, I want Team Ninja to do very, very well for themselves, and that way maybe we get less beach volleyball and more serious proper games.
Are we worried about PlayStation 5 becoming the remaster Station 5?
No.
Okay. Because we had that with PlayStation 4. It became the remaster Station 4.
Yeah, I don't think we're going to see as much of it because the backwards compatibility thing is just better, and there's more teams which are going to just slap the patch on it and let's piss off and go. Like, it'll be cheaper for us to put the patch out than it will be to print discs and all that sort of thing. Like cost benefit analysis and all those sorts of things.
Patch, the final story of the night comes by way of Sammy Barker over at Push Square, who says Spider-Man fan recreates Into the Spider-Verse scenes in Miles Morales' PS5. Marvel Spider-Man.
How good is it?
What was that? What'd you say?
I said, how good is it?
Oh, we're going to get into it in a second, actually. So Marvel's Spider-Man Miles Morales includes an incredible Into the Spider-Verse suit that not only allows you to dress like the movie protagonist, but it's also animated like him too. Incidentally, you can also you can find all Marvel Spider-Man Miles Morales suits and how to unlock them through the guide. They have a guide there on Push Square. An addition like this is ripe for fans, right? Animated GIF icon Much 118X or 118X went the extra mile with this content, recreating one of the movie's most iconic scenes within the PlayStation 5 title itself. You can watch this incredible effort below. I'll start playing it on the VOD for everybody. But look, it's man. I want to get into this in a second, but I got to say that for what
you just captivated watching it.
It really is captivating, though, isn't it?
Yeah, they've done an incredible job.
Yeah, man.
That suit is incredible, like how it's been rendered in game. But then this video is just sensational.
It's stunning, dude. I cannot believe how well they were able to remanufacture the exact same aesthetic that was delivered within the movie, the animated movie, give it the exact style that Miles moves within the movie, the feature-length film, and with the freaking frame rate that he moves in the film too, like, that is unreal. That is so good.
They've done a great job there, and if anyone sooks and whinges about the suits or the puddles in this game, they can fuck right off. In fact, they could fuck off before, but you can fuck off more so now.
PlayStation. All right, Padge. So we don't have to thank anybody for this one because this was pre-baked within the unit itself. So we just say thanks, PlayStation, for doing that. Astro's Playroom. Let's talk about Astro's Playroom, dude, because how, like, for a pre-baked playing, a pre-installed title within the PlayStation 5 itself to demonstrate the wondrous DualSense 5 control, or DualSense controller, I should say. It is such a solid platformer. Like, I did not expect to have as much fun as I did playing Astro's Playroom, but it really is such a solid little title.
Yeah.
What were your
no, I
thoughts?
mean, it's an exceptional platformer. Clearly better than the one we had at the beginning of the last console generation.
Yeah.
Fuck you, Knack. Our Lord and Savior Knack. Fuck you.
Knack 3.
So no. This is a really smartly made game. Like it's just bite size.
Yep.
There's obviously all these homages to past PlayStation things. You got each world that's based upon the PS1 through 4. There's touchstones there for VR, Vita, PSP. Really crazy accessories for some of those consoles that a lot of people probably wouldn't even know it existed. Even some of the most hardcore wouldn't know about, like the PSP camera, for example.
Yeah.
And then just you're seeing the characters in the world, you're navigating spaces and you look up and you see the PS3's cross media bar that's just wrapping the whole way around you. There's so many little wonderful touchstones like that. And then as a platformer, it's just it works.
Yeah, it
now,
really does.
Obviously they're shoehorning in the various features of the DualSense, and some of them feel more organic than others, but it's brilliant. And
yeah, it really is.
I think between this and what they did with ASTROBOT, they're turning this little guy into a what am I looking for?
A mascot.
A mascot.
Yeah.
And like it works. Like he's kind of generic enough in some senses that it's just accessible. You go, oh, he's a little robot. That's cool.
Yeah.
But then there's so much depth and love poured into the rest of the world that you just fall in love with that, and then by extension, ASTROBOT as a result.
Yeah.
You see the stupid stuff that the other bots are getting up to, and that just helps build this bucket of goodwill for the character. It's like they're doing something pretty great here, and I am fully of the mind that we're going to see a new core ASTROBOT related title in the next 2 years.
Yeah, same.
And whether it's a VR game or a traditional game remains to be seen. They've now proven that they can do both.
We don't need a VR game. Don't put that on me, Padge. All right.
Well, yeah, but obviously that's where where it kicked off. So it's not it's not out of the realms that we wouldn't see it again.
No, of course not. Yeah.
But they've now shown that they can do either. So
yeah. No, I agree. Look, for me, obviously the highlight was using the DualSense controller, playing the title, demonstrating everything, in terms of the adaptive triggers, the haptic feedback on its vibration. Really, really immersive in terms of what you get and how it interacts with the controller, especially a couple of the levels that are within the game. Like I can't remember some of the names, but I do know, like, if I explain them. So, like, for example,
like SSD Speedway and all that.
Yeah, so SSD Speedway always really comes back to me because that's obviously an easy one to remember. But it was the level with basically where it's raining and you're getting hit hard with the hail, and you just feel it in the controller, but it's not one big rumble or anything like that, or just one big buzz on one side of the controller. We're talking like dot, dot, dot in pinpoints, each rain droplet onto your hands. Like, you can feel the rain droplets in your hands. Then, as I've got it on display here,
this was in Memory Meadow, by the way.
Thank you. And then, like, you have the beach level. I don't know what this one's called, though, Padge, but it's the one where you're running around the beach.
Part of Cooling Springs.
That's it. It just came up on the screen. Cooling Springs. There we go. And you're running around on the beach, and as you're walking through the sand, you just feel the crunch in the controller as Astro walks through the sand. When the level begins, or at least this part of the level begins, you actually splash into the water off a water slide, and when you land in the water, you feel the waves of the water on the controller. It's one of those things where it's hard to explain unless you actually have the controller in your hand. The best way to describe it, I find, is the best way to emulate.
Don't you dare use that arrow.
No.
The pulling back a bow.
No. So the best way to simulate or emulate this would be to, like, place one hand on a desk and then kind of like tap near it. That is essentially kind of the sensation you get while basically playing with the DualSense in terms of some of the haptics that you actually get. But the haptics seems so authentic that if you close your eyes and play the title, you can actually say, okay, am I walking through sand? Am I walking through grass? Am I walking through a bush? Am I getting splashed with water? Are those rain droplets? And the mixture, the mixture between the haptics and the speaker on the controller give off more of an immersion than what I thought. Like, I cut off the speaker at one point just to kind of see how it would feel. Without the speaker, it kind of it does cut it in half, kind of like that immersion. But with the speaker, the addition of the speaker and the haptics, man, is it just so well done, so realistic. I can't praise this controller enough. They've really done, like last week on the Dash Game podcast, I was a bit with the controller, but now playing right through Astro's Playroom, I can appreciate this thing as really being the game changer for this generation, man.
Yeah, I mean, it's a big point of difference for them. Obviously, Game Pass is a big deal on the Xbox side, but this is a really attractive prospect, and you know, it's down to developers to use it effectively. And I'd say Insomniac, for example, with Spider-Man,
it wasn't really that. Yeah,
it's not as much like you feel it as, say, like as a train passes over.
Yeah,
you know, hits key points on the tracks and those sort of things, but it's not huge.
No.
It does feel quite. It does, like, you can.
There is a
really
little bit of
interesting
retention
pulses through the triggers as you are swinging through. Like, that's quite cool.
Yeah,
but it's far more subtle, and I guess you'd expect that to an extent because apparently Astrobot is a real drain on the controller's battery.
It really would be,
and that's simply because it is using every feature of it at all times. So developers won't want that to be the case. Sony won't want that to be the case, because obviously that becomes a big criticism of the controller if it lasts 90 minutes to 2 hours.
Yeah.
They already copped enough over the life of the PS4, and when this thing's being smashed by something like Astrobot, it's not going to go nearly the same length that the DualShock 4 did. So they will need to be mindful of that and find the sweet spot.
Well, that's the other reason why I personally picked up an extra controller. It just arrived yesterday, actually, but I'm also waiting for the dock, which got delayed till December 3rd. But you will need 2 controllers for the one player. Keep one on charge while you're playing, just in case, because the inclusion of all these haptics and all the vibrations, and whether or not developers are willing to kind of adapt them as much as what Astro's Playroom kind of displayed or demonstrated, will drain the hell out of this battery in some circumstances.
Yeah, for sure.
But yeah, I can't praise this controller enough. This really is the game changer. Between these 2 controllers in my hand right now, the Xbox Series X controller and the DualSense, this really is going to change the game and the way we play. I almost see Xbox kind of refining their controller midway through the generation to kind of meet demand of this in a way. I feel like there's going to be a case where they'll turn around and go, look what PlayStation doing, we need to catch up on that because we're doing so well over here, but we need that. So I feel like there may be some goings on happening there that they'll turn around and be like, okay, about halfway through the gen, we'll re-release the controller with our own haptics. But for now,
we'll just take on the Elite.
Yeah, exactly. But for now, we'll focus on the Games Pass and everything else, which is fine, which is fair. Yep. You mentioned Spider-Man as well. Like I said, there wasn't really much to go by in Spider-Man in terms of haptics. The one thing I noticed during Spider-Man was the adaptive triggers were a little bit spongy when you were swinging, but that was primarily it for Spider-Man. Yeah, it'll be interesting to see what developers do. But look, Astrobot, man, solid platformer that's baked into the console. And if you have a PlayStation 5, I highly recommend booting into it if you haven't, which I don't know why you wouldn't. So
yeah, you've got a PS5, you're already cracking into that bad boy.
I hope so. Alright, Padge, thanks to the kind folk over at PlayStation Australia that provided a review code for Demon's Souls. This is... It's interesting to jump into this. We just spoke about it in terms of like... the secret mystery behind that door and everything. But the game itself being remade for PlayStation 5 is unbelievably well done. This is apart from Miles Morales, this is the most detailed game that they have on the unit right now. This is a sight to behold. I could not believe some of the design aesthetics that were upgraded. Like the PS3 version was one of the most one of the prettiest titles that I had experienced for its generation. I thought it was a remarkable Souls-like title. The game itself is challenging. I feel like it's even harder on PlayStation 5 than what it was on PS3, to be honest. But that could also.
So I guess I'm not playing it then.
but I guess that's also me just not having been used to Souls titles for a little while. The improvements that are made are astounding in terms of the way you kind of handle your player and wield your weaponry. The customization, as I'm showing on screen, is just awesome. Like it has more options than what it ever had on PS3 as well. But I got to say that what I feel like right now is that they're trying to appeal to that niche market again in terms of Souls-like titles.
Yep.
And I think it's going to be a tough trudge in terms of having people wanting to actually give hundreds of hours right now at launch to a Souls-like title, because this is honestly PlayStation's biggest launch window that they've ever had, and there are so many titles out there right now. Like, this is a good game to kind of have as an additional piece to your main titles that you're going to invest hours into. Once you finish those, you come back and keep playing. That's a good plan and everything. I don't know whether that's going to be for everyone, though. Not everyone will be investing their time into such a lengthy title like this. It's going to give you like hundreds of hours, sure, but whether you're willing to devote hundreds of hours into the I just sighed because I just saw how great it looks because it's so good. It's so gorgeous.
Right.
It's one of those things where right now the length of the title will come to question whether or not you're going to devote that much time into the title and whether or not you want to really challenge yourself. I know a lot of players get frustrated with Souls-like games. It's not everybody's cup of tea, Padge. But I really do think that as a reviewer yourself, as a journo, as a reviewer for these kind of things, it's one that you should definitely give a go to. I think you're going to have a lot of fun playing this title.
Sorry, I will.
Yeah,
I did buy it. I have the intent of giving it a go at least.
Yeah.
I am prepared to die.
Oh, good. Because you will die a lot. And this guy, within the first half hour of jumping back in, no doubt, died a lot. Game's hard. Game's really hard. But once again, I think this is Bluepoint's best remake. They've done obviously a litany of remasters and remakes so far for PlayStation 4, but this is honestly their best remake in terms of design, gameplay, running as smooth as it does on PlayStation 5 as well. Yeah, man, I can't praise this game enough. Obviously, if you've played the PS3 version, you know what you're in for. But if you're playing it on PS5, what you are in for here is something that's going to blow your mind visually. I feel like they are playing, they are pandering and they are playing to a crowd, a certain market that really touches, base with the Demon Souls niche. But it's just one of those things right now where, because we are kind of like, we've got a handful of titles that we can experience right now, this kind of makes Demon Souls an essential for PlayStation 5. Because, we've got Miles Morales, we've got Astro, we've got Sackboy, and we've got Demon Souls, we've got Godfall. But if you look at that list right now, it really kind of looks like kids game. Miles Morales is kind of teen game, and then you look at Demon Souls, it really touches that adult market, and that's essentially what it's going to strike. Because I feel like as much as it really did kind of poke at the teen market on PlayStation 3, the visual style that they're going for here really has gone above and beyond that now. It feels almost like a different game, but it's still the same game. It just feels way different now due to its visual upgrades.
Yeah, okay.
Narrative-wise, it's still the same game. You can't change that. It's a remake. So, yeah. Look, fantastic title. I'm gonna have a full review this weekend. I'm still trudging through it. But those are my quick initial thoughts of Demon's Souls right now. Fantastic. Bluepoint should be proud of themselves. This is going to be a memorable launch title for years to come. Alright, Padge, also thanks to PlayStation Australia, I got my hands on Spider-Man Miles Morales. Did you get one? Did you get a code from PlayStation?
No, I'm not the one using it anyway.
Okay.
So mine was a retail copy that I bought for myself.
Cool. For Play 2 though, yeah?
Yeah.
Play 2, yeah. It's got a code, yeah, cool. But for Dash Gamer, thanks to PlayStation Australia, I was kindly provided a review code for Spider-Man Miles Morales. And obviously we're going to be considering in part 2 of our Operation PlayStation Cross for the Players Spider-Man special, which will probably be within the next couple of weeks or so.
TBD.
Until everybody gets their shit together and finishes the game. So, Padge, I want to get your initial impressions of the title. We'll give it a quick preview. We won't go too in-depth because obviously we want to save that for our special. But what were your initial thoughts jumping into Miles Morales?
Yeah, so as of when we record, I am on the verge of finishing the game.
Okay.
By the time we'll finish the podcast tonight, I'll jump back into it afterwards and I'll be done.
Sweet.
And the review will go up on Play 2 tomorrow. Because I'll just bash it out from there because I'm really keen to write about this thing.
Yeah.
It's awesome.
Yeah.
I love every bit of it. It just picks up where 2018 left off.
Yeah.
Miles is so much better to play, and that's the extra skills and abilities he has, the Venom powers and all those sorts of things.
Yeah.
They make a huge difference to the combat experience. The world is just wonderfully rendered, and I'm sure that's probably how it looks in remastered now. I haven't tried that out yet. I love the look and feel of it.
Yeah, same.
It's got so much heart.
Yeah, it really does. I was astonished because you know how much I give the PlayStation 4 version of Spider-Man shit. Like, it's just one of those. It was poorly. I keep saying it, poorly optimized. And I still feel that way. PlayStation 4 version of Spider-Man was poorly optimized for both the OG unit and especially the OG unit and the Pro unit. I feel like they really kind of had Insomniac kind of let me down with Spider-Man in terms of not its narrative. Its narrative was fine. The gameplay was okay, but I feel like its delivery was just not ready. It wasn't ready for PlayStation 4. I believe that they should have even maybe waited for PlayStation 5 to come out before they actually completely released the title or fully released the title. I purchased the Ultimate Edition for the purpose that it has the the Spider-Man remastered within the Ultimate Edition because I wanna see what it looks like or plays like on PS5. I believe that we basically get that preview with Miles Morales in a way.
Yep.
And with Miles Morales, man, I feel like they improved on every single facet and foundation that was intended for design in the original Spider-Man. And it's almost like this was supposed to be what Spider-Man PS4 should have been. And I feel like even omitting those side quests, as we talked about in the special, with Mary Jane and Miles in the original, did this game favors because there wasn't any stupid little side story missions that
the bloat isn't there.
Yeah, it didn't bog it down. So I really think that everything that they've kind of put into Miles Morales so far has been special. And you're right, it's full of heart because the narrative is strong in this game. The gameplay is so good. Like, there are some subtle changes that are made in additions, like the Venom Punch and the Venom Strike and everything else, that really kind of cast a shadow over the original Spider-Man entry. I really feel like even it's so smooth in terms of the way Spider-Man, Miles swings through New York. just everything about it. Even the music, the soundtrack is really well done. Whereas Spider-Man obviously had that one set piece of music that, as you're swinging through New York, it just comes on midway, and it's the same track every single time. Whereas Miles Morales gives you different music every time, so it's breaking that monotony of just having that same piece of epic music come on every time. So really adds to it, really adds to kind of the immersive experience, such an immersive experience. And the cinematography is done really well. But yeah, man, look, full review right now up on dashgamer.com. 9.5 out of 10 is what I gave it.
Nice.
So it's a 2,000 word review on a short campaign of a game, but we're going to talk more about it on our special, because obviously we want everybody to kind of listen to that and also share our thoughts with Mr. Ryan Betson and Mr. Max Cooper from For the Players. So that'll be out, as Padge says, to TBD. PlayStation. All right, Padge, time for the PlayStation pick. What is it this week?
We've been talking about some pretty action-centric games so far, and I'm just taking things the complete opposite direction. I'm talking about Journey.
What? Okay.
Whether you want to talk about the PS3 version, the PS4 version, whatever. Journey is one of the greatest games of all time.
Yeah.
There's not many people who've played it that wouldn't be at least considering it a masterpiece. Whether it's necessarily their forte or not, obviously open to debate, but can at least appreciate what it is. The game visually still holds up today, and that's just due to the incredible art design of the game, and it's just what it's designed to make you feel as you're playing it. There's not a hell of a lot that we can really say about the game, because it's, in many respects, it's what you make of it. Whether you're playing it offline, so you kind of miss out on the opportunity to interact with others, but at the same time it enhances this singular focus that is you and the journey itself. Whether you're playing with others, and it's the stories that dynamically emerge along the way, it's a really brilliant just compilation of different natures and styles of experiences there in one package that just still holds up to this day. I assume you've played Journey.
Bloody oath I have. I think it was perfectly timed, because action adventure games were really kind of taking the fold, especially Uncharted during that period. And aesthetically, Uncharted were, going with the whole desert theme and everything else, it really kind of fit that nature. And but it was obviously a big difference in terms of like contrast within action, but the drama and the suspense that came from this story, and its calm as well, with its calming juxtaposition, really kind of cemented it as one of PlayStation's best at the time. Like, it honestly, it really inspired a lot of independent titles that came after. And like you said, I'm showing on screen right now, some of the gameplay that was in it, in terms of just like even traversing through, the sandy deserts. I really kind of found a lot of myself in terms of, I found out a lot about myself playing this game. And what I mean by that is how calm and patient I can be with a title that kind of has nothing but a lot at the same time. It really kind of,
it says so much with so little.
Exactly. So and titles such as like Grizz that came after it really were inspired by Journey. And the 2D platformer that everybody calls 2D Journey. Journey really did inspire a litany of titles, of independent titles that came after it, for its simplistic nature, but definitely a lot of depth, and evoking so much emotion through its art style, and less physicality and just more narrative than anything.
You
got any other thoughts?
No, I mean, again, it's one of those games that you just, there's not that much you can say, because it kind of, it's the experience that you make of it. And so if you're someone out there listening to the show right now or watching the show right now that hasn't played Journey, put it high on your list, because look, you may not consider it to be the 10 out of 10 that I do, or that a lot of others do.
It definitely is.
But you'll get your own story and your own adventure, and you'll have something to say about it afterwards, likely for the good. But it'll be very different depending on the people you encounter, the stories that you make, the journey that you have. So go out and pick it up.
More than likely, for those who have PlayStation Plus, they probably already have this available in their library.
We already have it.
Yeah, so if you have PlayStation 4 or PS5 now, you can actually play this. So make sure that you go ahead and play it. Alright, Padge, it's time for the PlayStation operation this week. And I kind of...
shoot your shot, mate.
I alluded to this a little earlier. So, in my hand, I have 3 PlayStation 5 launch titles. Sackboy: A Big Adventure, which I was just provided by PlayStation. We're going to talk about that in a couple of weeks. Demon's Souls, which we just spoke about. And Spider-Man Miles Morales, the Ultimate Edition, which we also just spoke about. This right here, if we were still in the last generation, that would have been $69 each. So it would have been around
nice.
About... So do your teaching, Padge, teach me how much...
What would you say? 3 by 70.
So 3 by 70.
210.
There you go. So that would have been 210. Do you know how much this cost me?
Like 360.
360, exactly. This was $360 worth of games right here, man. This is... Yeah. I'll start with Spider-Man.
Keep in mind, one thing to keep in mind though is the RRP for the games last gen wasn't $70.
No, it was $99.95.
RRP is still 100.
It was still 100. However,
so it's the undercutting that went on that led to that. Now,
all right. Then if you want to play that game,
3 games and didn't spend 360 either.
If you want to play that game, then this should have been 109. That is what JB Hi-Fi are selling it at. 109. 109. That's what JB Hi-Fi is selling each. Okay, so let's say 300. Let's say 330. Okay, yep. So still,
which is what I paid in the end. But
right.
Yeah, I follow what you mean.
Still a steep ask for 3 titles, right? Especially Miles Morales, which is a roughly 6-hour experience in terms of its solo campaign. I can understand also charging that a little extra for Spider-Man Remastered because that entails the full original title remastered with Peter's new face and everything, but this is a steep ask for 3 titles at the moment, especially during, we're in a pandemic. I know that, it's a job and it's a business and everything else. They have to make their money too. But one title to cost regular retail pricing at $124.99 is a little on the steep end. You're going to need some deep pockets. Now, am I happy to pay that much for these? Sure, because it pays developers and pays publishers what they're owed. But at the same time, I don't know whether or not this is going to hold up for a while, where people are going to be able to afford to buy every single major release that comes out, much like they did with the last generation. And that draws a concern for me right now. Is that what do Sony do from this point? Are we going to be seeing more and more of this, or are we going to start seeing titles kind of reducing price? Now, as somebody who's worked the last 2 generations, I can say that each generation has gone from RRP of $110, $120 down to the $70 price tag that we've seen. Yeah. So it's of the norm right now. But if anything is to indicate what's happening right now, is that these will stay at this price for a long time to come. That concerns me. So what I'm asking of PlayStation right now is that maybe consider the fact that we've got a bit of an Aussie tax happening on your digital front. The digital store itself could take that cut, could honestly say, okay, look, the digital store has these titles at $124.99, but if I go to the US store, I can acquire these games at much less cost. They take away that Aussie tax, that digital store tax, whatever they have, through their American store. So why is it that we're still paying this Aussie tax premium for these titles through your digital store when I'm not actually physically picking them up, and you're not shipping them through? So there's no cost of you having to ship these overseas or anything like that. What I'm asking is, can we please stop with these freaking Australian taxes on games? It is killing us over here, and to pay $130 a game right now is just too much for some people. So my operation is, please consider the digital games a little cheaper during this generation. You might actually get more sales through your digital front rather than your physical front. in turn, it might screw big corporations over. Fuck you, JB. But that's what I want to see.
Well, that's the issue that we've still got is that, and not just locally but around the world, is that PlayStation, Xbox, Nintendo, they're still the share between digital and physical sales is still enough in favor of the brick and mortar store that they're not going to yet undercut them. Especially when Xbox and PlayStation were on the verge of launching new consoles. There was nothing they weren't going to do anything.
No.
The competitive pricing that we've seen in the past, that'll kick in soon enough. It's not going to drop to $70-$80.
No, not straight away, but yeah.
We're probably talking like the competitive prices now of $70-$80 becoming $90 to $100 instead.
Yeah, still a lot.
Another thing to note, obviously, with your Spider-Man price, $124, you did buy the Ultimate Edition there. Yeah. The regular version is $95, isn't it? It's basically $30 to get Spider-Man remastered.
Yeah.
So it's not,
but even then, $90 for
$30 that you volunteered.
$90 for that campaign.
Yeah. People pay $100 a year for Call of Duty. That's a 6-hour campaign.
Fair enough.
I know there's multiplayer, but you also get people that just do it for the, so there are people like,
there are people who are willing to pay that price. Fair enough.
People are willing to pay the tax to see and enjoy the things they want to enjoy.
Yeah. But a majority?
And that's the nature of, it's just got to be the right thing. And Spider-Man, Call of Duty, those are those things. But you wouldn't get someone pay $90. No offense to them, because the game is brilliant. I'm sure I haven't actually started yet, but the critics are all saying it is. No one's going to pay $90 for the Pathless. But that's because it doesn't have. That's because it doesn't have that audience, that prestige, that IP behind it. So they can't get away with something like that.
Who do you see being the first outlet to kind of start taking down their price of gaming titles that will lead the way for like JB Hi-Fi and everybody? Because I don't see it being JB this time.
Oh, Big W, Amazon.
Yeah, Target, yeah.
Those would be the ones that get the ball rolling.
Yeah.
Because they tend to have a surplus of these things because they're not known for that. And then you go from there.
But you think it'll only go down to around about $90, yeah?
Yeah, it's not going to drop as low as it once did, but that's fine. Like, I want the developers to get their money.
Yeah, so same.
As long as we're not being gouged at the same time, and that's the issue at the moment.
Yeah, so that's what I want too. I want Sony to kind of sit down and reevaluate their digital store, because that's where I believe there is a lot of it happened last gen. That's why nobody bought games from the digital store. If they did, they were desperate. They were desperate for copies of a title. Like, when God of War was sold out for like a couple of months, people were like, where am I going to buy it from? Digital store. So, yeah. All right, Padge, time to wrap up the show with the drop. Did PlayStation provide a drop?
Of course not. We're going back to Game Informer.
It is the freaking... whatever, go on, please do.
We don't have that much this week. This is the kind of quiet week wedged in between, Cyberpunk and Immortals and all those sorts of things in December, and post the PS5 launch with all the launch suite of titles. So we've got... it's basically PS4 titles this week for the most part. You did obviously mention earlier in the show that Mortal Kombat is getting its upgrade.
Yeah.
I think it's maybe even patched. Is it a free upgrade if you own a
free.
PS4?
I read it today. It's free. Yeah.
But we've got 4 PS4 games coming out this week. We've obviously spoken about Sakuna of Rice and Ruin in the last episode there when we did our preview.
Yes.
We mentioned that both of our sites have reviews up there, so go check those out. But the game is exceptional. You want to play it. It's out November 20th. That is this Friday.
Correct.
Assuming I got the calendar right in my head. Katamari Damacy Reroll, November 20. Just Dance 2021 next week, November 24th. Star Renegades next week, November 24th. And Vigor, November 25th next week. But that is about it for the fortnight. So if you are still, like myself, wading through these pile of games... You've got Spider-Man, you've got Astro, you've got Bugsnax, you've got Demon Souls, you've got Pathless, you've got Assassin's Creed, whatever else. You've got 2 weeks. Go hard, my friends.
We'll come back in. I know that's probably what people will also here for, to hear my thoughts on Bugsnax. You're going to have to come back in a couple of weeks. I haven't had time to actually get into it yet. So come back in a couple of weeks and hear our thoughts on Bugsnax, I guess. Also, give you guys a heads up. We have 3 episodes of Operation PlayStation left. Well, actually 2 after this one. There'll be only 2 episodes of Operation PlayStation left after this episode for the year, and then we go on break. Unless myself and Padge have to come back and do an extra episode between then, that's pretty much where we'll be. We'll be on break for about 4 weeks and then return at the start of January. So look out for us on my Twitter, which is still suspended, but at Dash Gamer, but at an S at the end. So that's honestly where I'm at the moment until Twitter fix their shit up.
And if you want to chat to me, someone who doesn't, I mean, Dash is just trying to mimic some other person that was pretending to be him, and that's why he got himself suspended. If you want to see someone who's just got a code of ethics here and squeaky clean, Paul James Games.
Shut up, guys. Oh, by the way, guys, you might have noticed through the episode, I've been trying something new with the podcast. There've been cards popping up in the top left-hand corner. So
like PlayStation cards.
Cards to prior episodes or even DGP, so make sure you click on those and check them out. But you'll also notice QR codes that have been popping up in the bottom right-hand corner that will actually take you to Dev Diary. So make sure, no, the other way, Patch. Make sure that, the other way, Patch. There we go. So make sure that you make sure that you have your phone in hand, have a QR app installed, scan it. It'll take you to Dev Diary on your phone. Subscribe and follow Dev Diary for Padge. And also, you'll see time and time for ops on iTunes as well. So make sure that you scan it. But guys, if you didn't know, this has been Operation PlayStation, DashGamer.com's dedicated PlayStation podcast. We dive deep and dirty and discover what the latest and greatest PlayStation have to offer. You can follow Mr. Paul James Games, Mr. Paul James at Paul James Games. You can follow myself on Twitter at DashGamer when Twitter allows you to. Don't forget to follow the show over on SoundCloud, iTunes, and Spotify. Give us those cheeky 5-star ratings. They surely help us out. You're a bit slow on that one, Patch. What's going on? And also,
oh no, I was cracking each finger so I could do it properly.
And also,
just let him bring up so we go back.
Catch the VOD over on DashGamer.com and on YouTube. Subscribe, hit that bell, give us a like, leave us a follow, and all that fun jazz. Patch, it's been fun again, mate.
Always.
More PlayStation 5 stuff. PlayStation 5 is here.
Corey, ALANAH 2, come on the show, guys.
Oh God. Guys, we'll catch you in a couple of weeks for a new episode of Ops. Catch myself next week on Dash Gamer Podcast episode 21, the second last for the year. But until then, this operation is complete.
DashGamer.com